Hello and welcome to part 4 and the conclusion of our Flight 1 Beechcraft King Air B200 flight from Coal Bay to Anchorage, Alaska. Currently we are descending through flight level 180 into Anchorage on the Ammot8 arrival, approaching the Kenai OR. Welcome aboard. Fasten your seat belts, place your tray tables in the upright and locked position, and thank you for flying with FS Mania. So we'll be making the turn here and momentarily at Ina, and then coming out here to Ammot, and then from that point I'm expecting a vector to the final approach course. And just to brief the approach, we will be flying the ILS 7 right approach, and the frequency for that is 111.3, which is already preset up here in nav 1. The decision height is 332 feet. The missed approach is to climb runway heading to 600 feet, then a right turn to 2500 via the Anchorage VOR radial 209 to the 15 DME fix named Jukep. Our approach speed, we will take a look at that. Here's our turn, and we'll want to come in here. Do this just while we're in the turn. Come in here and come down to the VREF, and I want to cut that on. That's 95 knots, and that will be what we want to be at when we cross the threshold. And cut off VR since we aren't taking off, and we'll leave the safe single engine climb speed in there. We're in our turn now to Ammot, and we're 15 miles away, coming down through 14,000. And let's see if we can find that banana out there. Bring this back up. Wrong way. Far out there, 13,000. Let's see. I'm going to bring this power back. I can see it's up there over 86%. It was 268 knots across the ground. So we'll slow us up, and that'll bring that banana in a little bit. Come down about 82% or so there. We are descending at 1,000 feet per minute, coming through 13,000. So I think once we get here, we'll just take another look and see, but it should. We just need to be down before we get to this intersection right here, and I still think we're going to be fine. We'll close this box right here. And let me do a quick run through the checklist. Let's see, we're 12,800 feet. Let's shut this thing here. Okay, the MFD controller. Recognition lights, we will want to come on 10,000. We'll go ahead and put those on now. And I'm going to set usually they give us a 030 vector coming in to Anchorage, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up while I'm in here. On the heading mode. And then if they change it to something different, we'll change it, but that way we'll be ready. See some traffic right there, 2,100 feet below us. We should see more traffic as we come in. And let's look at N1, 82%. And our ground speed's 245 knots, coming through 11.8. We're looking good. Power back just a little bit more. Slow us up just a little bit more. Try to keep our speed up in the descent and on the final, because there's a lot of jets that fly into Anchorage, and they fly fast, and we don't want to get in their way. there's our turn right there. 030 for King Air 0 Yankee Kilo. They just told us to go ahead and turn to the heading. 030, so I'm in the heading mode now. Verify that right there. 030 is set. And now we'll see where the banana ends up. There's our final approach course. We'll go ahead and activate that. We'll just use this right here instead of bringing up the other. Actually, we want to activate vector to final. So now that draws the magenta line right there, and I can see the banana is going to get me down. So we've got some clouds. Let's check on our wings, make sure they're not iced up. They're not. We have our recognition lights on coming down through 10,000, and it looks like we're going to get down well before the final approach fix, right where we are. So we're going to leave everything just like we got it, 230 knots, and all is well with the world. Now when we intercept the localizer, let's just check over here. We want to be inbound, and I forgot to brief that, but that inbound heading is 071, the final approach course. So I want to set that up in the course right here. And this again, I need to be careful not to hit accidentally something else that I don't want to hit. There's 077, kind of hard to read. Straining my eyes. There we go, 071. So that's set up. Now we're not picking it up yet. I don't see the identifier here, but we're still a good ways out. In fact, we're 30 miles away from the final approach fix. And looking at the banana, I do think I'm going to slow our descent up just a little bit. So we'll come up to 800 feet. Slow up to 800 feet. We just need to be down at 2,000. You see some traffic coming in over here, but they look like they are well above us. Yeah, 8,500 feet. Yeah, and that puts us down. Now I might go ahead and go back to the 1,000 just because I want to intercept the glide slope from below, not from above. So I want to make sure I'm at 2,000 before I get to Thule right there. More traffic popping up. Traffic everywhere. It looks like they're threading the needle here. I'll zoom us in here a little bit more. Still not receiving the localizer. Should be picking that up shortly, and I would think about 25 miles, I think, is where we'll hear the ATIS broadcast. And don't believe we reset that altimeter. We'll do that now. 3005. We'll see what the ATIS tells us. We should be hearing that momentarily. Yeah, lots of traffic over here. One's below, most are above. They got these planes all coming into runway 15 maybe, but they're everywhere. There's 24 miles, still no ATIS. We're at 7,000 feet. Banana still looks good. Ground speed 230 knots. Traffic coming the airport. There we go. Picked it up at 22.5 miles out.
152 at 3. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions, no clouds below 20,000. Temperature Richard 14, viewpoint 12, altimeter 3005, ILS, runway
Okay.
7, left, ILS, runway 7, right, visual, runway 8, visual, runway 9, visual, runway 10, visual, runway 11, visual, runway 11, left, visual, runway.
Okay, light him up. Cleared for the approach. King Air 0 Yankee Kilo. Alright, we are picking up the localizer now. That's a good sign. There's the CDI. I see the identifier. So we'll be ready to... And let's go ahead actually and activate the approach.
King Air 4 Charlie Radar, contact mile southwest at Campbell Strip. Show you 1,100. Have your clearance for you in just a moment.
And we'll just watch for the needle to start moving. I'm going to go ahead and turn us about 10 degrees that way. 040. $17 miles out, 5,300 feet. Everything looks great. Approach checklist, pressurization. We are good. VREFs are on, cabin signs are on. Auto feather, we want to arm that.
Approach speed 155 should do it. Then contact tower 118.3 Avenue.
And we'll go ahead and arm the ignitions.
Cathay 080, have your speed 170 or less.
Engine anti-ice is required. We're going to put the ice vanes on. Once we get it on the localizer, intercept that, we'll put the ice vanes on. And we should be seeing this move shortly. See the glide slope, we're picking that up now. Anticipating the needle moving. Any moment, 4,000 feet, indicating 215. There comes the localizer. We'll go ahead and start the turnover.
Descend up Oscar, should maintain 8,000.
Try to do a smooth intercept. I'd say that looked pretty good to me. Some traffic up here. No factor. And we'll go ahead and go into the approach mode now.
Control aircraft information, Lincoln, Merrillfield, Anchorage, altimeter 261.
See if we see any of that traffic out there. So we're about 10 miles from the final approach fix. Gives us time to get established on the localizer. We've still got about 1,000 feet to go. We'll be getting a warning here in a moment. There's the banana, so we could slow this descent up just a little bit. I think I will. That'll begin to slow us down some here. 81% on N1. We'll bring our power on back. Preparation for getting our gear down. Over to tower 40. That's our gear warning. Quieten that up. Over to the tower for King Air 0 Yankee Kilo. So let's say we set the tower right there. And that's our ground, okay? Anchorage Tower, King Air 520 Yankee Kilo on the ILS 7 right approach. Runway in sight. Cleared to land for 0 Yankee Kilo. We're leveling off now. We'll start seeing our speed slow up. We'll go ahead and extend the ice banks. See the lights come on, and the drop in the foot-pounds torque, which will help us also slow up some more. Glide slope is not alive. Got a little bit of a wind off of the tail there from the right. And let's zoom the sails in here. 80, about 20 miles there. See how that looks. Okay. So there's Thule right there. See some traffic. And I see the Bassy or Pappy or whatever it is down there. We're below 170 knots, so we're good now for our gear extension. Glide slope's alive. We'll go ahead and flip on landing lights, taxi lights. I think we can cut our tail floods off. And gear coming down. And get caution just telling me that we're not ready for reverse, so the props are still at 1700. We won't bring those into full until after touchdown, and that's just telling me we're passing through our 2000. And so let's go ahead and get some approach flaps in there. Slow us up just a little bit more.
We're looking for Transponder 14, maintain no separation from that traffic up to your discretion. Flight 11, the traffic has you in sight. 11.
And there's the approach flaps. Trim coming down. Balloons us up just a little bit above the glide slope. Slows us up pretty good there. We'll recapture that. Coming down to 121 knots. And when we put those full flaps on, we'll definitely be hitting the brakes, I promise you. There's 120 knots. Won't get too much slower. We're at 600 feet. We're about 500 feet. I'm going to take over the autopilot.
500.
A little bit below glide slope here. Add some power. And let's take over. Yaw damper off. Autopilot off.
Anchorage Tower, fly straight in, runway 7, right, altimeter 3005, 827, cleared, and land, runway 7,
And full
right.
flaps. And really push that nose
Cleared,
down.
land, runway 7, right, 827.
Those flaps, we really wants to balloon up. Easing off back pressure a little bit. Easing off forward pressure. We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anchorage, Alaska. Nose wheel down, and it'll just keep us down and bring our props up to full. Stay on the center line. Oopsie, that out of there. And just beta range here. We're not going to use the reverse because we got a ways to go. Bumpy runway here. And we're going to come up and hang a right on Charlie, I think it is. No, Foxtrot, I think it is. So the main terminal's off to the left. Over there is the tower. right on Foxtrot for 0 Yankee Kilo.
Going around, 8 to accept.
Saratoga 8429 November, Anchorage approach clock 0134.
Flaps are coming up.
Transfer 150, Anchorage approach clock 0105.
And we'll stop right here. Ground on point 9 for 0 Yankee Kilo. So they want us to contact ground. Do that. Com 1 there. And let's go through and go ahead and cut off these strobes and the landing light off, and we can go ahead and get off some of this. Let's get in here where we can see it. Some of this anti-ice. And let's see, Peter heat, we'll get all that off right there. Auto feather can come off and ignition's off there. And do checklist here real quick. After landing flaps are up, anti-ice off, engine, auto ignition off, transponder squawking ground, and taxi lights. And let's just set the trim back to 0 here. Wrong way. Anchorage ground, King Air 520 Yankee Kilo, ready to taxi to parking. Taxi to parking for 0 Yankee Kilo. I'll see, I believe another King Air right over there at Millionaire.
At 6 miles east of Moose Point, maintain VFR at or above 4,500, turn left heading 340 vectors for sequence runway left, 7 left.
Traffic.
Vehicle out here, looks like a tow. That's okay, because we're going to turn in right here.
Saratoga 8429 November, your radar contact 6 miles southwest Barbara Lake, verify your land in Anchorage with information with
Great Circle Flight Services. That's not where we're going. Cut off our flight director.
Saratoga 29
So,
November, Roger.
Quick thoughts about the Flight1 King Air B200. Almost as good as it gets. Almost perfect as it gets. A++ for what that's worth from FS Mania. One of the top tier developers, no doubt. If you don't have this airplane in your hangar and you like turboprops, it's a must-have, I will say. Give it my full endorsement. So we're going to be parking right here at Executive Terminal.
And approach out of the spacing, look for Otter 4 Sierra Sierra, which is towards the 7 left now. We can blow up in TV. Otter 4 Sierra Sierra, looks good. Turn left
That
direct.
should do right there. Set our brake. Set our brake right there. And we'll get the recognition taxi lights off. And prop sync should have been cut off a long time ago.
Traffic.
My bad. And we get this avionics master for what that's worth. It'll cut our clock off. We'll still hear radios. I think it did do something there. doesn't seem to be caging it. But anyway, after shutdown, let's see, parking brake set, master's off, auto feathers off, taxi's off, cabin temp mode. Let's cut that off. We're supposed to let the turbines ITT stabilize 1 minute at temperature, 510 Celsius right now, and then we can go into idle cutoff on the condition levers.
6 miles eastbound, beach 1900, 2200, descended for 7 left.
And we also want to bring the props back and feather them. And we'll kill the caution lights here.
Maintain visual separation from the Twin Otter, and vehicle altitude your discretion.
There we go. Props have stopped moving. Check our DC voltmeter.
200.
Good solid 24 volts there. Excellent. Overhead panel switches, let's cut those off. Dome light, avionics,
speed your discretion.
Instruments, and that one, I believe there's one more right there. All of those are off. And I want to cut off this oxygen here, and the fuel shut-off valves, firewall shut-off valves here off, and then one flip there takes care of all the generators. I hear an airplane. It must be at King Air, although it doesn't really sound much like one. And I think we can hop out with that. So, one other thing, let's don't forget this beacon, because it runs with the master switch on or off. So we're gonna hop out. Let's see. Be a little bit of a gymnast to do it if we can. Beautifully appointed cabin, barf bags included. Our passengers are invisible. There's the facilities. There we go. Got that opened up. Now the airplane just completely quit. Watch your step. King Air is a big plane. And we have arrived. I hear a train. So you did a good job there, Zero Yankee Kilo. One heck of an airplane, I gotta say. Flight1 A+, wonderful King Air, good flight from Anchorage. And that will conclude this episode of FS Mania. Let's put on the good old rocket-powered tennis shoes. There we go. Up we go. And so for our next flight, we are going to be flying the Coronado Phenom 300, newly released, as per request of Elizabeth D, I believe is correct, who was the 1,000th subscriber of FS Mania. I gave her the opportunity to select the next flight, and she selected the Phenom 100, and the flight will be from Anchorage to Bethel, Alaska. Also coming up, we're going to be doing a flight in cooperation with a AvSim reviewer on the Phenom 100. It's a delivery flight from Brazil to Fort Lauderdale to go through customs, and then I think from there to Wichita, about a 5,000 nautical mile flight, and we will be doing that as well in the Phenom. So that's what's coming up on FS Mania. And until then, I want to say thank you very much for joining me on this episode, and hope you enjoyed the King Air as much as I did. And until next time from FS Mania, so long.
Northern 150, contact Anchorage Tower 18.3.
We just got the beach in sight, thanks.